I've been a Bose fan since the early 90s, but after years of fighting with the earbuds falling out, trying to keep them clean so they're working, and then the stupid touch controls just driving me nuts, I decided to try something new, and I'm trying these status between 3 ANCs, and so far, they've shocked me in a really good way. So, my Bose loyalty went back to the early 90s. I started with the original headsets over the ears with that noise canceling. Absolutely phenomenal. It was something that we were using in the military to listen to things. And then and I got my own pair for traveling because they just worked on planes so well. And then when the QuietComfort earbuds came out, I jumped on them and I thought, yeah, these are pretty decent. The noise canceling was superb. And over time, they went from QC1s to the QC2, and I think they're on the QC Ultra now. And I was never that impressed with the QC2s. I was starting to, my loyalty started to crack. They didn't really fit my ear the right way. They got rid of the wireless charging on the charging case, and then the you had to constantly clean them just to keep them working well. So I just got frustrated, and then finally, this little touch sense. This is so sensitive that when I'd be working and hit something with my shoulder, it would turn them off, and it just became really annoying. So I started looking for different options, and I tried out the Sony. What is it? The Sony WF-1000XM5s. These are pretty decently sounding. I really like the sound. They would be comparable to the Bose, if not better. And the noise canceling was definitely comparable to the Bose. But really, the problem is, again, they're trying to get these things so small and fitting in your ear that I just felt like they were not stable in there. And I was constantly adjusting them. And then if you look, they have this little area here that's kind of the that little touch point there. You can't even adjust them at all without stopping or starting or advancing your music or doing one of the myriad different things that touchscreen or that the touch controls do. So I wasn't happy with those. So I decided, well, let's look around a little bit, and maybe there's something else that will give me what these are doing, but be a little bit more stable in my ear and provide some better or as good as sound. Really, that's what I want. So I kept seeing these ads on social media, a lot of times on Facebook, about this status between triple driver magic headsets that they were going to revolutionize everything. And it turns out they're not that new. They've been around for a while. I had to do some research. There's plenty of YouTube videos like this talking about them going back 2 years. But I was super skeptical because it is new technology. I don't know. It sounds nice. Triple drivers, 3 speakers covering high, mids, and low. That's just like your headset or just like your home system or car system. But, with today's world, you go in, you see these ads from, in this case, Status Audio, and you look down in the comments, and there's 1,900 comments, and you read all the comments, and 38,000 people loved or thumbed up the thing, and it's just a whole bunch of stuff. I love this, I love that, but this could be machine learning. Or not machine learning, AI. So is it true or is it not? That's what it really comes down to. So as I followed along, I kind of watched them. You watch a couple ads and then boom, you're getting hit with them constantly. But what I noticed, what got me really intrigued is when they dropped the price down below $160, because now we're talking less than, something like this. You're talking a lot less than the Sony systems. And so I thought, well, that's still $160. That's still, throwing it out in the wind. Am I even going to get the product, right? And really what made me pull the trigger was when they went to Amazon. So I'm an Amazon Prime member, so I can buy them through Amazon. I knew if I didn't like them, I could send them back with no problem getting a refund. So yeah, I pulled the trigger. Yeah, so I got them for $159. I think it was during Prime Day. But I mean, even at $169, these are definitely competing with Bose and Sony. One thing I will tell you first, you can see, yes, I did actually purchase them. And two, be careful. Don't pick the in between or audio between pro, because you're not going to get the active noise canceling. That's the big difference between these two versions here, which is basically black and white. And then the pro, you don't get the active noise canceling. And that's really why you're buying it. Active noise canceling with those three levels of speakers just makes it superb. So I'll keep testing these for now, but I gotta tell you, I don't know, I'm pretty sold on them. I think they'll stay in my ears. If I have any updates, I'll come back and put them in the description for you. If you have them, it'd be great if you could comment below too. All right, let's talk about what I found. So right out of the box, you get that same kind of premium feel. They felt just as good as the Sony ones or the Bose. They both, right there. Fit wise, a little different. They have a rather long barrel on them, so they kind of stick out of your ear a little bit. And part of that is because, they got to fit that unique kind of speaker system sits in between here. So they do stick out a little farther than what you would see in the other ones, but didn't notice it. The weight is balanced. It feels like they're right in there. I could shake my head. They don't move. And I really, really like that. All right, so they've got touch controls like many others right along here. But here's a kicker. Unlike all the other headsets out there, they actually have a physical button that controls the active noise control and transparency, voice assistant, and even battery status. Pairing with my Android was pretty much like every other Bluetooth, pretty easy. Multi-point worked flawlessly between my phone, my tablet, or my computer. The only thing that's really missing out of this set is that there's no sensor to detect when you take them out of your ear and pause the music. That's something I had to get kind of used to, and I would definitely fix if I were to make a suggestion for improvement on this product. All right, like all things, it comes with a companion app, lets you do a little bit more controls and whatnot. The first thing you got to do to get it to work or connect to your device is you got to put them in. So you take the earbuds out of the case in order for it to connect to the setup here. And then once it connects, what you do is you get a real good splash screen of status here. You got 100% battery. Your listening mode, you can change it. Status says they only have 2 listening modes, but in reality, they have 3. They got active noise canceling on, active noise or ambient. Ambient allows you to actually amplify the sounds around you so that you can hear them even louder. If you put it on this super, I tell you, you get like it's like super hearing, really. And then the third one is where both of these are off and you're able to just listen to pure sound, but without the active noise canceling. The benefit of that, I don't know. I don't think I'd ever use it. I think I'd either go to ambient. Ambient allows you essentially to have a conversation with somebody while still having the music play. And then of course my favorite is active noise canceling because you're just immersed. Down below that, you also can set up EQ settings. They have 3 preloaded systems. This is their signature one. I actually like it a lot. Autofile kind of brightens it up. And they have explanations of all that down here. And then you can even create your own by adjusting it and then saving it. Throw these things around, get a feel for what your personal listening habits or the music that you listen to best support. I mean, cranking this up right here, it's like going back and listening to 80s music when you got it set up like something like this, but regardless, you can set up as many custom different settings that you want. It's kind of nice. And then finally down here, the other thing they offer is find earbuds, but that's really just a location that the phone is registering when you connect or the last time you connected your earbuds. So you're not going to be able to find them if you lost them in your couch, for example. The only thing you're basically going to be able to tell it, did I leave them at work or are they in the house? That's about it. So a couple downsides. They do stick out a bit more than what you would expect or what you're probably used to in other headsets. As you can see, they've got a big area here. Kind of weird, but it's okay. You get used to it. And like I said, the most important thing is I could shake them all over the place and it's still pretty balanced. I don't feel like they're falling out. With the Bose ones, I was constantly fixing them. And then definitely with the Sonys. The other part I don't really like is there's no auto pause feature. You pull them out, the music doesn't stop and restarts. With my Bose, if somebody came along, and they started talking to me, I could just pull this out. Music would stop. And when they stopped bothering me, put them back in. I got the music going again. You don't get that with these status. And I wish they would improve that. I wish they had that. Overall, I got to just say that these are a phenomenal pair of headsets. I'll probably be listening to them for a long time, but I'll check back in. I'll give you some updates in the comments below on how they're working. If they fail me, I'll let you know for sure. But until then, if you've got a pair, I'd love to hear what your experiences are on them, or if you're thinking about buying, if you got any questions, put them in the comments below. This will be the first of my reviews. I hope to have many more. So go ahead and, if you haven't, subscribed. And until then, and also if you want me to review something that maybe you're interested in, put it down below. And if I can swing it, I'll try to do that. All right. Until then, party on.